tourist playground, Waikiki was a pristine land. When Polynesians first settled these islands, they brought with them their indigenous knowledge and customs and evolved them to fit the shape of the land that they found. The area of Kalia became known as an agricultural engineering marvel, with kalo fields and fish ponds spanning as far as the eye could see. But Western colonizers quickly brought foreign diseases, killing more than 96% of the Hawaiian population. This left the agricultural lands of Kalia untended. Many Hawaiians leased their lands to Chinese immigrants who turned kalo fields into rice paddies. Kalia's famous fish ponds were converted into duck ponds. Though these adaptations weren't perfect, they did save this vast agricultural and aquacultural system from total collapse during hardship. In June 2017, the Hawaiian sailing canoe Hokulea returned to Hawaii from its 3-year-long worldwide voyage, Mālama Honua. More than 50,000 Hawaii residents from all walks of life crowded Magic Island and the shores of Kalia on Oahu to welcome crew members home from their final leg. The canoe, built and navigated using the indigenous science of traditional Hawaiian masters, had circumnavigated the globe for the first time. At each stop, crew members spoke with local people about our shared ability to live in balance with the island that we call Earth, spreading social capital throughout the world and strengthening the resilience of the Earth's population using the indigenous inspiration that they brought with them.
Hokule'a's first voyage to Tahiti reawakened a cultural pride, identity, and an intimate connection to place. Today, Hokule'a voyages around the planet with a message of Mālama Honua, or caring for island Earth, with a firm belief that blending traditional and modern technologies will help us find our way to a healthier future.
Hokulea, to us, to go around the world, has this enormous potential to go to 40, 50 countries on the planet, to be with the great navigators on Earth. And I'm not talking about those in canoes. I'm talking about those who are doing things to give kindness and compassion to the Earth and those who live on it. Those navigators. We're not going to change the world, but we're going to go and build a network of people around the Earth who are going to change it. And our job is to help them be successful.
In American Samoa, Samoan culture is alive and well. By law, lands and titles are controlled according to the traditional chiefly lineage system, and the traditional culture of extended communal families living in villages connected by councils of chiefs is still intact. However, because of globalization, many Samoan adults are forced to work multiple jobs, leaving elders uncared for. One community group is partnering with the Catholic Church of Samoa to adapt support systems, strengthening the resilience of village families.
It's very exciting for everyone, especially in the sense of the way that it's orientated towards increasing the skills of our local staff here in Hope House, but also its second phase of outreaching into the community, because Samoan culture is very based on families looking after their own elderly. So to be able to upskill the people who live at home in the care of the elderly is a very important part of the project. So great idea, we're very excited, and I'm sure it will go well.
The trainees have never really received any formal training, and most of them have just been taking care of the residents based on when the order of nuns that were here and whatever knowledge that was passed on. But there really has never been a certification or any really formal training. So what this program is going to do is get them certified, get them to a higher level of professionalism, get them to see the rationales behind the nursing practices that they are delivering right now and will continue to deliver. And so this program is going to enhance their careers. This will bring a foundation and a stepping ladder towards other fields maybe. And so because the medical field is, there's a myriad of opportunities, and this is an open door for them.
In Honaunau on the Big Island of Hawaiʻi, residents are trying to mitigate the negative effects of tourism, and they've come up with an interesting idea using traditional Hawaiian structures called hale.
Once you have a hale built, then it becomes a gathering place, and it'll be a gathering place for tradition, for the practice of culture, and everything had its name and its reason, and there was this protocol for gathering all the materials to build a house. You didn't just go down to Home Depot, right, and say, or call a contractor and say, I want this built. So it was a community. It was always a community effort to build a house. We also would like to educate the community in general, but mostly those who are not a part of the community, who are visitors to our community, and they come through here at the tune of about 1,000 a day, with no idea of where they are other than what they've gotten out of a guidebook, which begins by telling them this is called two-step. And Honaunau and Honaunau Bay was one of the most important and sacred places, certainly on this island.
While a traditional hale could help the area, storm-proofing restrictions by the county challenged traditional building practices. But the group used it as an opportunity to train and license young people, creating jobs for the low-income community members.
One important part of this building project is that it's a skill. Building a traditional Hawaiian hale is a skill that may be lost because there aren't very many people doing, right? And but there is a demand for hale building, traditional hale building, and it is now part of the building code. And there's only one certified hale builder on the island. So this project will train up to 5 students.
My name is Walter Wong. I belong to the halau of hale builders from, and my kumu is Uncle Francis Sanensi from Hana Maui. Materials vary. Of course, the number one material is ohia. On the Big Island, we have a situation with some disease. They call it rapid ohia disease. But ohia is the best. Then we also use invasive species, which is anywhere from eucalyptus to kiave to ironwood. And the exchange is taking out the invasive, replanting the native, and instead of poho, the invasive we use for biohale. And whether it's a teaching tool or the hale itself, we know poho.
The project has become bigger than Honaunau, spanning a community of practice, building resilience along the whole South Kona.
I've read a lot about Honaunau and the hale builders from that area, so I'm so happy to be in support of their work. And I'm just glad to be adding to them.
A startup in Honolulu is using high-tech solutions to solve the challenges of farmers.
Like, everyone should believe that climate change is real. I think that applying sort of smart technologies to preserving and understanding like how native plants grow is really, really important. You know, figuring out a way to create some sort of knowledge transfer between sort of like traditional growers and like the quantitative world is something that is really fascinating to me. Being able to quantify the things that farmers already know in their head in ways that we can kind of like take with us into the future is sort of like a goal for smart yields. Being able to adapt to different changes in climate, whether it's caused by global warming or other sort of like abnormalities in the weather and changes in patterns, is something that's necessary, or understanding that is something that's necessary for us to be able to, you know, sustain local plants and even animals.
Smart Yields is a data analytics platform for farmers. We take the guesswork out of farming, bringing the advantages of technology to small and medium-sized farms. We've developed a simple, out-of-the-box solution that can be placed anywhere it's needed to start collecting data. We take a hardware-agnostic approach and integrate almost 100 third-party sensors. We aim to provide more affordable and accurate sensors to growers. Our mobile platform.
I mean, there's a lot of ways to use data and cooperation to create stronger food systems or more secure food systems. You know, this idea of like open source farming is something that is interesting to us, but there's definitely been a lot of like hesitation in like the farming community about sharing sort of your secret sauce. But this idea of like crowdsourcing information about growing a particular plant can greatly improve sort of the learning algorithms that we use to analyze that particular data. So the more people that contribute sort of like citizen science and open source growing data to any sort of platform, whether it's ours or a research institution, will create sort of like that initial set of data that, you know, can be used to improve the efficacy of that crop. But that data analyzation allows us to help reduce those inputs, which not only save the farmers money, but also help us like achieve those like renewable and sustainable goals that we have.
Before Smart Yields, Justin worked with Hawaiian groups on Hawaiian language software, an experience that's inspired his work in agriculture.
Being able to evolve and adapt is definitely part of resilience, right? And majority of like the Hawaiian language was spoken, and so like a lot of it had to be passed down, or that knowledge had to be passed down through song or speech, basically. And so by being able to record things in different ways and being able to quantify those records, we can not only preserve that sort of like the context of that knowledge, but we can also learn more about it by throwing it through analyzation programs. So like, for instance, we have a bit of machine learning that we do that can take just sort of like tables of data and be able to extrapolate more inferences about it. And so being able to quantify sort of the knowledge of a traditional farmer or a traditional grower and in any way or form will allow us to be able to do more things with that particular data going into the future.